In today's video, we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at raycasting. And that's the ability to cast a ray from, well, point A to point B, and to be able to get information on every collider you hit in between there. And this works perfectly for when we're shooting our lasers out of our ship to see if we actually hit something. So I'm going to go ahead, open up my laser script. And right here is where we have that public method where we shoot the laser out. Now, I've had a couple days to think about it. And originally I was going to go ahead in the player input script, cast my ray here from the center of my ship or some point, generally the center of my ship, or maybe this first, the main laser we have, cast my ray from there. And if it hit anything, have all my lasers automatically go there. The other option was to have each of my lasers cast their own ray. And if only one laser hit something, then you'd see that laser hit it. And the other two lasers would just zip on by. Now, to be honest, our game is really not that taxing on our system. And I've only got 3 lasers, so I might as well go ahead and have them cast lasers independently. That way we can get that really cool effect where, like I said, you can hit with 1 or 2 lasers and the other laser just zips on by. And the same thing with the enemy ships. If they have multiple lasers and they shoot you, maybe you get hit by 1 or 2 and you see, other lasers zip on by. I think that'd be a cool effect. So I'm going to go ahead and implement it that way. So because of that, I'm not really going to need to pass in a target position anymore. This position here is now going to be from our raycast. So I'm going to go right above it. And this is actually going to be private, but it's going to return a vector 3. And I'm just going to call it cast ray. And right away, I'm going to go ahead and replace that variable down here with it. Let's go ahead. We'll get rid of this. I'll save that off, come into player input, and I'm going to keep this calculation here just for now. I'm just going to erase the position being passed in. And to be fair, we could just go ahead and comment this out. There we go. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and create a variable to store the information on the colliders that I hit. And that's called a raycast hit. And I'm just going to call that hit. So again, the variable name is hit, and it's of type raycast hit. The next thing I need to do is be able to calculate the forward direction of my ship depending on what direction he's facing in the world. And I'm going to do it like this. I want it to be stored in a vector 3. So I'm going to go ahead and take my transform direction. I want a vector 3 forward, so 1 spot in front of me. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply it by that max distance we have set up here. Then with that, I can go in and start casting my ray. I've got everything set up for it. So physics.raycast. And if you take a look here, there's a few options here. There's a ray. We're not going to bother working with the ray today. There's ray max distance, the vector 3 origin, the direction. The one I want is number 11. I want to go ahead and be able to say, here's where I'm going to start my ray from. This is the direction I'm going to shoot it in. I want to go ahead and save all of that hit info from the raycast into a variable. And actually, I'm not going to need to specify a max distance because we actually have that in our forward. But let's go ahead and start putting this in. So the origin will just simply be the transform dot position. Our direction is just going to be the variable FWD for forward. We want to go ahead and store where we're going to be saving this, which is in our hit variable. But we need to say out hit. So everything we hit, all the colliders we hit get saved out to that variable. And that's actually it. We don't need to specify the distance because we're doing that here. So if that ray cast, I'm going to go ahead and check. Well, before we go ahead and check, let's actually put that ray up on the screen. But to be honest, I guess we don't really need to because we're going to go ahead and take that position and have our line drawn. So that line is actually just telling us where it goes anyway. Maybe we'll throw some debug in the update. That way we can just toggle our update on and off as we need it by commenting it in and out. But we're going to go ahead and check to see if we hit something. And we'll just simply say debug.log. And what we want to say is we hit. And then we're going to take this hit variable that we have. And we can get a hold. Well, nope, that's not what we want. Put my plus sign. We'll get that hit variable we have. And we're going to grab the transform. And from the transform, we can get the name. So we know what we hit. Likewise, in the else statement, if we did not hit anything, I'm going to do the same thing. Well, we'll just type it in. And we'll just say we missed. All right, now we still have to return a vector 3 here, right here. So if we hit something, we can say return, and again, go to that hit variable we have, and we can go ahead and get the point. And this is the point of contact from our ray onto that actual collider. So if you hit something, let's say on the very tip of a wing, you can actually go ahead and shoot your laser right to the tip of that wing. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we'll return this, but we have to take care of if we actually do miss. And to be fair, we really don't need an else statement here. If we hit something, we're going to go ahead and debug out and then return. Else, we're just going to miss. So I'm going to go ahead and just return the max distance that we could have shot, at least that vector 3 point. And we can calculate this just like we did with the laser right here, just by going ahead. I might as well just copy it. So we're going to go ahead and take our transform position, then we're going to add in the transform position, or sorry, transform.forward times and the max distance. And that'll give us the vector 3 of what the max distance is of our laser. Now I am going to come into update. Again, we can go ahead and just comment this out as we need it. And I forgot the void. It'll be one of those mornings. So we have two options here. We can draw a line, draw a ray. Either one's going to work. I'm just going to pick the ray this time. I usually do line. It really doesn't matter in this case. So we need to start direction, which is going to be transform dot position. So we need a position and then a direction. And of course, we can grab that direction right here. And we can also give it a color. Let's give it a color. Our lasers are yellow, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make my ray yellow. Let's go ahead. We'll save this off. Let's jump into Unity. Let's fix any errors we have. Looks like we have at least one. Oh, nope, never mind. It went away. All right, so I'm going to start this up, and we should immediately see the 3 yellow lines. So that's the rays. When we cast them, that's the path they'll be on. As we fly around, we see they're there. Let's actually follow the ship. All right, and then as we shoot, we can see the lasers are on those lines like they're supposed to. Let's actually go shoot something now. And we missed. I'm actually going to break the console out here. And let's get right into the face of some asteroid. There we go. 2 lasers hit, 1 missed. Let's go ahead and lengthen the duration. The duration of the laser as far as how long it stays on the screen. Grab all 3 lasers. We'll lengthen it. I'm going to go ahead and hit clear. Now this thing is rotating. And if we go ahead and select it, I'm going to have to rotate my ship up just a bit to get a better shot at it, I think. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So it looks like 1 to 2 lasers can hit it. There we go. We have 1 hitting it. I have 2 hitting it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 2 hit, 1 missed. So it's actually pretty cool the way we can do this. We can go ahead and leave those lasers on for debugging. That is so awesome. But you don't want it in your runtime. To be honest, I just don't want an update at all in my laser script. So I'm just going to toggle it on and off as I need it to debug stuff. But anyway, there we go. We are going to be using this quite a bit for the enemy ships. Let me zoom in on the player. When we start getting into pathfinding, I want to take a simple approach to it using raycasting. I really want to stress raycasting in this series. And actually, I have a tool for this. Just a second. All right, so for instance, for raycasting with our enemy ship, when we get to it, we're going to have like the ship going, and let's say we have a wall out here. I'm just going to quickly draw a red, make it a blue wall. So let's say I have some sort of wall out here, and I want them to be able to fly around it. In the case of our game, we're going to have asteroids everywhere. But let's say my target of what I want him to get to is right here. I'm going to be able to use raycasting in space to fly around and get to the target to where I have a line of sight and he's within range and shoot him. And we can do that simply by just casting a ray out from in front of the ship and going, oh, can we see the target? No, there's something in the way. Then we can cast another ray and go, what about this direction? Can we see a target? Like, is there a way there? Nope, there's still something in the way. Well, you know, what about this way? Nope. And you can even get a little more complex and do multiple ones. And in this case, let's say we were doing all 5 rays and we say we can't seem to get to the target at all from any of these directions, then I can go ahead and just start turning in one of the directions. But in the case of, let's say I was shooting my ray out this way, I was doing another set of rays, and I noticed that, oh, look, I don't hit anything over here, then I can start turning that way. But hopefully this will become a little bit more clear as we start working on our enemy ships. We pretty much have all of the player one done now. The only thing left to do is when we actually go ahead and shoot something, we will be able to go ahead and get certain components of whatever it is we hit. So for instance, when we shoot an enemy, we can go ahead and call it its I've been shot method, in which case, iterates our score or brings our score up and, blows itself up. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and just debug out that we hit some. But anyway, I'm just going to keep rambling on. So I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully it helps you out. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. So if you like the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. It really does help me out here on YouTube. And go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I can be a pretty chatty guy over there when I'm not walking through a forest or being stalked by eagles and falcons, lions, tigers, and bears.